I'm Jill Erblin, and I'm the program director for the Global Social Venture Competition. And we're going to spend a couple of minutes just going through some slides, talking through some of the deliverables and guidelines today, talking a little bit about the judging criteria, and then really just give you all some time to ask questions. We have two of our fellows who are also on the call, Amal and Justin, who'll be managing the chat function. So for those of you that are new to GSVC, we just wanted to give you a quick overview of what GSVC is. We really support social entrepreneurs. Our program, through all of our regional and local partners, provide mentoring exposure to investors. And then at the top level, if you make it to the finals, there's $80,000 in cash prizes. And we really, our model is really helping social entrepreneurs develop skills that will help them develop their startups into fundable and scalable companies that have impact. This is just a quick snapshot of our partner network. I know that some of you are calling in from other places, so those of you that are based in the US or the Americas are going to apply through our Americas round, but if you go to gsvc.org/apply, there you'll find another version of a world map, and you can click on your country and it will tell you which region to apply through. And I would click on the country where you're based, and that means, for example, you may be based here in the United States, but perhaps you're working on a project that's in Africa. But if you're currently based in the US and will be here in the United States for the duration of the competition, which is December through April, you would apply through the United States. Now, if you're maybe an alumni who perhaps you went to Berkeley and are now living and working in India, and working on your project there, then you could apply through the India regional round. And so that's just a quick example of where you should apply. Oh, and there's the next slide. So, and again, you want to apply where the majority of your team members are based. And that's because if you do get invited to move on to a regional round, you may be invited to come in and pitch in person. So you want to be to the closest place possible. Here's a quick snapshot of the timeline. This timeline is more, so the global deadline is December 4th. It's a 3-page executive summary. We're going to go through these in a little bit more detail, and 10 plus stakeholder interviews, which we'll also talk a little bit about in more detail. Round 1 judging will happen for, if you're based in the United States or in the Americas, it will happen in December. In some cases in other countries, that might happen either in early January as well. And then our Haas regional finals, and that means if you're a US West-based participant, is going to be on March 16th. However, again, if you are not based here in the United States, you'll want to check with your local regional partner to find out next steps. And you will be informed of those next steps if you should move forward in the rounds. And then every partner will be sending the top 2 teams to the global finals, all of the partners who host a regional event. And that will be in Milan, Italy in April. And really, you know, what we want to have you do is build upon your application. So that first round of submission, it's a 3-page executive summary. Typically, if you move on to the regional round, you'll be connected. Most regions, you'll be connected with mentors and or coaches. That will give you an opportunity to continue to iterate on your project, do an additional 20 stakeholder interviews, and expand on your executive summary. And then in addition, you'll be asked to put together a pitch deck and a 2-minute video to submit to the regional round. And then similarly for the finals, it's a very similar set of deliverables, with the addition of another 20 stakeholder interviews. So the judging criteria for GSVC. So this is how we look at all of the projects that are entered into the competition. We ask our judges to evaluate your projects in 3 major areas. One is your business potential, and that's your opportunity, the solution, and also how you identify that problem and how that solution is the right fit for the problem or challenge you're trying to solve, and then your financial sustainability. The second bucket is the social impact potential, and we'll talk a little bit about that more, but we have a very distinct way that we ask you to think about your social impact. And then the third bucket that you're evaluated on is your likelihood of success, and that's your implementation. And a lot of that's also about sort of the quality and the makeup of your team. Are you the right team of people to move this project forward, and are you all committed to the project? Or, you know, the judges will pretty quickly recognize if the team is working on this as a student project, but maybe not planning to move it forward after graduation. But you can get these details if you go to the website. Every bucket, every slide's going to have a kind of a resources link at the bottom, so you can get more detail on the judging criteria on the GSVC website at the link that we've shared below. So the first, like I said, the first deliverable is your executive summary. We also have a template on the website. I think actually, yeah, we will share these slides with you after the fact, or if you have signed up ahead of time, we have your email. So there is a template on our website that you can download, and it really helps you walk through the steps of how to build your executive summary. But some of the key areas that you'll want to think about are here on this slide. So again, it's your value proposition. What is the market? What is your sort of competitive advantage in that market? Really, do you understand the landscape and who those competitors are? What is your revenue model and your go-to-market strategy? Who are your stakeholders or your customers if you're looking at really, the lean launch methodology? And then what's your 5-year kind of projection? And again, with social impact, we'll talk a little bit about that in an upcoming slide. And then similarly, likelihood of success. We want to see who your team is. So one of the submission requirements is a one-page set of your bios, and understand really what your track record is to date, and then kind of telling us about what your next steps are for the future. So your social impact guidelines, again, this is something that is very, was initially very unique to GSVC, but a lot of, organizations really, especially organizations that are investing in impact organizations. And when we think about impact, we think about social and or environmental impact. So you could have, one or both of those qualities built into your business model. But we want you to think about your venture's theory of change and describe that. And your impact value chain, and we've developed 4 key questions that you can answer to explain all of this. So first of all, what is the challenge you're trying to solve? Why is this challenge important? How do you intend to solve this challenge? And what is your vision for the future beyond solving the immediate challenge? And these 4 basic questions are all you really need to think about for the first stage of the application. And then if you move forward to the regional round, we have a more detailed set of criteria that you can look at. Again, it's on our website under the social impact guidelines section that ask you to really think about your metrics and have some different tools that you can use on our website to think through that process. The other key thing that we ask teams to do, and this is really key to the lean launch methodology, Berkeley's really, this is how we teach our startups and our entrepreneurs, is using the lean launch methodology, and then we have developed that further for social impact. We offer a class here called the Lean Launchpad, Social Lean Launchpad course. So one of the key things about this is doing stakeholder or what you could call customer interviews. And this is really about testing your concept and interviewing people, not just your friends, not just your family, but really figuring out who are the potential stakeholders, who are potential customers that would, either benefit from your product or service, or if it's not a product or service, what are partners that would benefit, and industry experts. And then we ask you, again, there is a template on our website that you can download. We ask you to provide some key quotes from each of those interviews. And then really the key thing that the judges are looking for is what are the insights that you gain from those interviews. And so you really want to take that step before you finalize your executive summary, because those interviews can help, maybe help you, build upon your summary and your project. And again, we've got a really deep set of resources on how to do stakeholder interviews or customer interviews. Steve Blank, who pioneered this idea, there's a whole series of videos that you can watch online. They're all very short videos, but those are all available on the resources section of the GSVC website. And so if this is a new concept to you, we would really encourage you to take a look at those videos and get an idea of really how to perform those interviews and then really how to synthesize them. And then the last key deliverable are the team bios. And again, it's just really highlighting the academic and professional experience for your team. You know, what is the role of each of your team members? Who is the student or who are the students on the team? Again, a key component of the criteria for GSVC is to have at least one current or recent student on your team. And that is, if you're a grad student, it's up to 2 years out of grad school to be eligible to enter GSVC. And then for undergraduates, it's up to 4 years out of undergrad program. So a key requirement to be to enter the competition is having that student team member, and that student should be are active, you know, should be a co-founder or a very active, engaged member of the team participating. And again, it's key to have, you know, those students as active members, because if you do move forward to the regionals and the finals, that student and or student team members needs to be one of the 2 people that will present at those events. So the other thing you want to think about in your bios is that, and also addressing in your, you know, summary is, you know, if you're still looking for people to make up your team, you know, maybe there's a couple key areas that you're aware of that you don't have, whether it's subject matter expertise or industry expertise, any holes that you may have, you know, identifying that and being upfront that you're looking or seeking people. And those people could even be advisors or mentors. So if you don't have that covered on your team, think about maybe how you have that covered in the short term with mentorship or advising. And again, there is a template for that. Really, it's just a short bio with a link to your LinkedIn profile. So at this point, we are going to open it to questions, unless my colleagues have any other things to add. But yeah, at this point, if you guys have any questions, looking for more information, now is the time. Great. So first question, student or student that graduated in December of 2016, active student. Yes. So it's up to 2 years as of December of 2017. So if you graduated in December of 2016, you are still eligible to enter the competition. So there's another question. So I've follow-up question, is a student required to be from a certain institution? That's a great question. So GSVC is open to anyone in the world. So you don't have to be a member of a university or that is one of our partners. So for example, you know, Stanford or UCLA, they're not partner schools of GSVC, but students from those schools or recent alumni are welcome to enter the competition. So there is no restriction on where the student is from. It just needs to be from an accredited university program and undergraduate or graduate or a PhD. So the question is clarify about the necessity of having a student involved in the project. So because GSVC is you know, managed through a university, we see ourselves as an educational program. It's an extracurricular activity for students. You know, a lot of competitions require that the team be made up of all students. We don't require that because we understand a lot of times students are finding members of the community to partner with on a project. Or vice versa. But because we're run through the university and you know, it's been a key component and a key ingredient to the competition over the years. Then that student requirement is pretty broad if you think about the requirements for undergraduate, recent alumni, and graduate students. If you don't have a student, we do have on our website, if you go to the apply page, there is a Google document that you can fill out and see if somebody picks up and wants to join your project. You could also, if you're based here at Berkeley, at UC Berkeley, we have a great new network called bearfounders.com. And, depending on where you're located, if you're not located here in the United States, we'd be happy to connect you with maybe the local partner in your region, and maybe there's an opportunity to help source a student locally that could work with you on the project.
Do final presentations need to be conducted in English?
So the question is, do final presentations need to be conducted in English? So that really depends on where you're applying. So at this time, in order to present at the finals, all plans and submissions and presentations need to be done in English. However, if you are entering through the Francophone region, so if you are in French-speaking Africa or in France, you can enter the competition in French. However, and you can also, at the regional finals, you can submit your application in French and present in French. However, the European region, ESSEC Business School, who manages that regional round, has implemented a new requirement that in order to be eligible to move forward to the global finals from their region, you will need to present in English at the regional event. But that doesn't prohibit you from the first round entering in French. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have any other partners that accept entries in other languages. It's only the Africa round and the European round where you could submit in French.
Next question. What are the chances for an early stage company to make it through the selection process?
So are the chances for an early stage company to make it through the selection process? I will be upfront. I think the teams that do move forward to the global final round are a little bit farther along in their process. However, I wouldn't discourage early stage ideas or early stage startups, very early stage, from entering. You can enter up to 2 years in a row. And so, I will say, if you are early stage, at the minimum, the first round of judging, you get that exposure. You get, at least through the US West and East rounds, you get evaluated by at least 3 to 4 professional judges who are providing you with feedback. So even if you don't move on to the regional round, if you do move on to the regional round, then you would get access, likely get access to additional support, mentoring, education that can help you move your business idea forward. We have a lot of success stories of teams that either haven't gone on to the finals, or maybe they go on to the finals, but they don't win, and they've still gone on to have success. We look at this as an education process for teams, and it's not just about the end goal of winning the prize money or getting to the finals. You can also enter up to 2 years in a row. One of my favorite success stories is a team called Next Drop. They entered in 2010. They made it through the regional round, but didn't move forward to the finals, but they kept working on their idea through coursework here at UC Berkeley. They entered the following year and ended up winning the entire competition. So, we really encourage teams to take advantage of as many resources as possible, whether it's GSVC or other competitions that are based here at UC Berkeley, or even in your home institutions or regions.
So a follow-up to that, how involved should the projects be in order to participate?
So the question is, how evolved should the project be? You need to be evolved enough to put together an executive summary and be able to start really talking to potential customers and stakeholders. I mean, if you're really, really early stage and haven't had a chance to really flesh out your idea, then maybe GSVC isn't the right fit for you right now. So I would say comb through the resources. Are you able to really put together an executive summary in order to develop some key questions that you could ask potential customers?
How many team members should be involved?
So the question is, how many team members should be involved? We don't put a limit on the number of team members that can be a part of your project. Most projects, I would say, have somewhere between 2 to 5 team members. Again, a piece of what you're being evaluated on is the strength of your team. So if it's right now, if it's just you working on the idea, and you don't have others working with you, or haven't yet engaged other mentors or advisors, then you might want to think about doing that. There are limits when you are invited to participate perhaps at an in-person event. Most of our partners, when they're hosting in-person regional finals or when we host the global finals, in terms of budgeting, most of the time, this to support 2 of those team members to travel. If you have more than 2 team members and you have the ability to finance those team members to attend the event, you're welcome to do so.
Is a four-year graduate considered a recent alumnus?
Is a 4-year graduate considered a recent alumnus? I'm not sure the question is clear. Is a 4-year undergraduate degree, or can you clarify? Can you maybe just let us know what your degree is?
Bachelor's degree.
So 4 years bachelor's degree, yes, you would qualify whether you're a current student. Again, it's up to 4 years out of graduation as of December of 2017. So if you graduated in May or June of 2014 or even December of 2013 as an undergraduate, you would still be eligible to participate.
Is the competition open to all fields, for example, technology, sensors, and big data?
So the question is the competition open to all fields? Yes, we don't put any restrictions on the industry. You just need to be able to show in your business model that you have social and or environmental impact to your business solution. We have a lot of technology related projects, technology for good, or using technology to solve big challenges is definitely a key area of focus for a lot of teams that enter. But we see a very diverse pool of applications. Any other questions? Well, great. If there's no other questions, we will wrap up the call. You are more than welcome to reach out at a future date. We answer info@gsvc.org. That's info at gsvc.org. And again, we have a wealth of resources on our website, so we really encourage you to just do a deep dive into the deliverable requirements and take a look at those resources provided. Those are all designed to really help you address some of the key components of the GSVC process. So, other questions? We will wrap up, and thank you all for joining. We hope you all have a good day or good night wherever you're from.